Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. I am Casper from the Tropical Weather Threat Society, bringing you our nightly tropical update regarding the Atlantic Basin and other basins as well. We will eventually get across the world here tonight. But before I get started, when I woke up this morning, I heard of some absolutely terrible news today, and it has kind of rocked a certain portion of the weather community and storm chaser community today, and that is Dr. Reed Timmer and Gizmo passing today. That's an extremely sad situation. She was 17 years old, so we knew eventually one day that day would come. But it's still heartbreaking that Gizmo is no longer with us. And Reed, a little over an hour ago today, we chased for Gizmo. So he is heartbroken. So please, folks, keep your keep your thoughts and your prayers out for Reed, because it's definitely going to be a tough time for him going forward. So, all right, let's get over here to the tropics and kind of break things down, because I've had a little bit of change from yesterday going into today. Yeah, James, that it reminded me of Storm Dog for sure. Like I know he's up there showing her the way. And yeah, it certainly reminded me of Storm Dog this morning. And I wish he was here, no doubt. Anyway, all right, before I lose my cookies here, let's talk about the tropics. So, as we could see here with the latest surface analysis from the tropical discussion, let me get rid of all that stuff. And if we look here, we've got Dexter. It's colored in white. Let's not do that. Let's try this one more time. Sorry about that. We've got Dexter right here. We've got our little trough that we're watching, our mid-level disturbance, and then the stalled out frontal boundary here, expecting some type of development, maybe in this area, maybe just a little bit further over to the west as well. The models are, and it's not necessarily tropical cyclone development, it is just low pressure development. The fact that for tropical cyclone development, I'm not too sure about that at all. But one thing that it is going to do is it's going to play with this trough right here, and this trough is going to continue to the west. Now, yesterday I said that we really weren't too overly concerned about the area here into the eastern Gulf of Mexico. We're going to have to keep a watch on it, because of the fact that if this doesn't develop, then the southern, and it connects with this trough, connects with this trough up here, it'll end up kind of orientating itself into the Gulf, and then we could see something spin up. It's going to be a very low chance. The models certainly aren't on it, but I'll show you guys here in a little bit more detail later on in the forecast here this evening. So, taking a look at the NHC board, we do have our O50 out here, main development region, 1040 on our area off the southeastern United States, and then we have Dexter. Now, Dexter exposed its center earlier today, but has then since kind of gotten some of that heavier convection in and around the center of circulation to help kind of sustain it as it continues out here into the northern Atlantic. And then it is actually forecast to strengthen after it becomes post-tropical. So, taking a look at the experimental forecast cone interactive map here from the National Hurricane Center, we notice no threat to land out here in the middle of nowhere. Taking a look at the advisory, currently we're located at 38.6 north, 62.2 west, about 460 miles north-northeast of Bermuda, with the maximum sustained winds of 40 miles an hour. currently moving northeast at 13 miles an hour with a minimum central pressure of 1,005 millibars. Scrolling down to the most important portion of the public advisory, the hazards affecting land, none. Moving on to the forecast discussion, I'm not going to get all into this. The only thing that I really wanted to show was the fact that it is forecast to actually intensify. It is going to become post-tropical or extratropical as it is merging and turning over into a more of a cold core system at that point in time. So it's out there. We'll get a little bit of ACE numbers from it. That's about it. The rip currents today, as we could see, we still have some decent rip currents here, located from about halfway up the Outer Banks in North Carolina, all the way up to what looks to be the Maryland-Delaware border there. It says no data here for the portions of Chesapeake Bay. I would treat this as it is a high risk for rip currents. And anywhere in the yellow, please exercise caution. If you're ever caught in a rip current, swim parallel to the coast. Do not try to swim against it. Now, getting into our outlook. Disturbance number 1 is going to be here off the southeastern coast. Again, it has a 10% chance of development over the next 48 hours and a 40% chance of development over the next 7 days, even though it doesn't have 7 days over the open waters. Now, disturbance number 2, this has a 50% chance of development over the next 7 days and 0% chance over the next 48 hours. If we take a look at the text, it's there. So what I want to do again this evening is I'm going to show all this on EarthNull. And I'm going to drop this down to the surface. And if you notice where I have our trusty green circle, we're at, let me bring this up to the 500 millibar level real quick so we can put a couple lines of the trough here. You can see how the winds increase like this, coming around kind of a more influenced area of winds and convection. If we bring this up, as you can see, there's not a lot of shear in this particular area, just north of Hispaniola and north of Puerto Rico. If we compare that somewhat similar, okay, and that's kind of the point of the whole thing. It's somewhat in the region. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back down to the surface and we're going to bring this forward 24 hours. Now please keep in mind this is a part of the GFS's operational solution. So here we are 24 hours from now, and as you can see, a very weak but yet defined low pressure. But this low pressure also has a frontal feature associated with it. Now, if we bring this up to 1 mile above the ocean surface, we will see that we have the low pressure definitely, trying to do something here. All right, so what we're watching for is we've got this high off to the right, just off to the east of it. All right, we've got the high developing here, and this is going to be headed this way and helping to force this low pressure here this way. Okay, the question is whether this is going to have time to get its act together and get organized. But the thing is that it's also going to have to find kind of a hole underneath where the shear is lighter, and this being approximately 6 miles up above the ocean surface. These winds need to calm down. And if we run this forward another 24 hours, we'll notice that we're still dealing with kind of the frontal features from Dexter and running all the way through. But at the same time, if we come back up to the 500 millibar level in the mid levels, we'll note that our high pressure is right here anchored and everything is kind of rolling around it, but we've got that trough here. And this is starting to kind of work its way and get itself into the Gulf of Mexico. So let me erase this. We'll come back down to the surface and we're going to go forward another 24 hours. Now, if you notice, our area of interest, our area that is highlighted here, this thing never really gets its act together. It never really gets going. All right, it is still associated with the trough and kind of a frontal feature. But again, now that we've come up to the mid level, this is starting to kind of lift up and out of the way, and in replacement, we are starting to get a little bit of an increase in winds right here with something trying to, potentially, mid-level wise exist. I'm not saying develop, I'm just saying exist. Now, if we look at the upper level winds, there's still some shear there, so it's not going to be in a very good environment. Now, if I come to the 700 millibar level, we will also note that we've got a little area, a little low trying to develop right there. So I'm going to bring this forward again another 24 hours. Now, at this point, the little low that was here is now there. All right? That's the 700 millibar level. At the 500 millibar level, you will notice that we've got a high pressure here. We're not going anywhere. We've got a high pressure here. We're not going anywhere. And this thing is kind of buried in this little wake, so to speak. So the chances of something getting developed and organized is not really going to be that well. As you could see, there's still going to be some shear associated with this. Looking at the 250 millibar level, and I will take this forward one more click. As you could see, at the surface we don't have anything. The 700 millibar level, it ends right here. That's why one more click. But the 700 millibar level really didn't stay very well organized. We come up to the 500 millibar level and we see this trough for certain right here. So it really all depends upon how much organization we get with this up here over the next couple days. If this were to organize, it's going to help try to pull some of that energy with it. If this does not organize, then we may have to watch something over here into the eastern parts of the Gulf of Mexico. Taking a look at the models. Now, this goes out 7 days. The ensembles, as far as the Euro is concerned, not really too aggressive on anything out here into the Eastern Gulf, but we do have a couple lines like we've not seen in the last couple days. So we're going to have to watch for the trends. We still got time. Not a lot of time, but we have time. Now, looking at our MDR spot, not really expecting and anticipating development until maybe it gets around 25 degrees north and pulls northward, if it is strong enough to feel and take this track. That's a key component. If I push this out 10 days, we don't really see much change. But we're starting to see a little bit of a signal out here getting towards 60 degrees west, just south of 20, getting towards the islands out here and maybe encroaching in on the Caribbean. Now, I'm going to do something that I very rarely do. I'm going to show everybody what the 15-day model is. Now, the only reason that I'm showing you this is that I want you to keep in mind that we're usually dealing with like one tropical wave, right? And then you're going to get the ensembles that are going to be like, okay, well, we're going to try to, see what this wave does. Okay. there you go with a great amount of uncertainty. I mean, you've got storms going from the central Atlantic all the way out into the Yucatan Peninsula. So, if you see anything online right now as far as the ensembles are concerned, please do not go for anything over than 10 days at the absolute maximum. 7 days would be best, but 10 days, you can kind of get away with it if you know what you're looking at. Now, taking a look at the Euro AI model. Now, the Euro AI model, as far as the Gulf of Mexico, has a few more scratches. And this is not necessarily any kind of tropical cyclone development, but it could be a low pressure center, increased rainfall, whatever. We're going to have to wait and see. It's a little too early because we need to see if anything develops here into the southwestern Atlantic. Well, if you look into the southwestern Atlantic, we don't have anything from the Euro AI. Nothing. So that kind of brings a little bit of concern. Now, if I run this out 10 days, you will see that the Euro AI definitely has got a little bit of a scratch mark here associated with some type of disturbance of some sort. So it's just inclement weather. We don't see any intensity with this, but we're going to have to keep an eye on it. The main development region, the signals are starting to pick up. Now, again, I'm going to show you what uncertainty looks like. There you go. That's 15 days. I mean, again, we're running from the Yucatan Peninsula to the central Atlantic and all points in between. So if you see one operational run, just please keep in mind that there is a massive amount of uncertainty with anything that is not developed and trying to come from the main development region days in advance. Okay, so it's all these folks on social media that are sharing these operational runs of nothing that hasn't even developed yet. I hope they realize that they're only making fools out of themselves. If we take a look at the GEFS and compare them to what we had with the Euro, now this goes out 7 days. We don't have much of anything into the southwestern Atlantic, and we don't have much of anything into the eastern Gulf of Mexico as well. As far as our wave out here into the main development region, we do have it pulling northward. Some of them do take it off. A couple of them still allow it to run a little bit further to the west. We also have another little spot to where maybe the GFS gives it a less than 10% chance that we could see a buckling of the monsoon trough and get something else to organize as well. Not really confident in that in the slightest. But now if we run it out 10 days, if we note that if something does potentially slip west and stays weak, it could run to the west. So it's something that obviously this time of year, it's just things that if there is something out there, we're going to have to keep an eye on it. And, just for comparison's sake, look, again, central Atlantic all the way to the Yucatan Peninsula. And you notice you don't start getting these real crazy intensity markers until it gets way, way off into La La Land. So don't let folks scare you on social media about showing some kind of like crazy run of, oh my God, it's Armageddon. No, it's not, folks. It's that time of year. We don't have anything in particular. We've got places to watch, but no imminent threat at this time. So what we have here is the Google DeepMind model. Now, one thing that I am going to do this evening is I'm going to run this out. As we can see, there's Dexter. Let me get rid of that thing. There's Dexter running along and disappearing, and then all of a sudden, now we're starting to get a little bit of signal into the eastern Gulf of Mexico. So we're going to drag this right to the point of exactly where we're at 5 days ahead of time right now. And what I'm going to do for everybody as far as the Google DeepMind is concerned, we're going to highlight this box. And we will note that it does give all of our tracks and potential wind speeds and stuff like that. We only have one model that wants to try to get it to anything, as you could see, any type of intensity, swings it way out to the left. If we take a look at the next model that has any type of intensity, they all swing it way out to the left. So if it stays up near and it does get developed, maybe a tropical storm. Okay. Now I'm going to take this forward just a couple more frames, and we're going to do it again. And this time, as you could see, again, it's the one way out there, but it didn't add anything of super significance with anything that had, developed. But again, there's nothing out there, and it's not, Google does a good job, but we're going to have to wait and see exactly what happens. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the wind speed colors off, and I'm going to activate all the models. This includes the Euro High Res, the Euros Ensembles, and the other Google models. And what I'm going to do is, you can see the Euro does have the potential of low pressure right there, but I'm more kind of focused in on this area here into the eastern Gulf of Mexico for everybody, because I know that's been kind of the new thing for today. So again, if we pull this up, even the other models don't really get it as far as the Euro is concerned. Nobody even gets it to a Category 1 hurricane. So just to kind of give everybody, hopefully, a little bit of peace of mind in the latest data of what we're seeing. Now, being that we're 5 days out, I'm also going to pop this. And we're going to highlight this one. And as you can see with the Euro, the Google DeepMind, everybody pretty much on this right here. We don't have anything that really wants to slide it off to the left. So, well, again, we're going to keep a watch on it, but right now it doesn't look so bad. So I'm going to run this forward so this way we can get the next wave that's going to come out. And we're going to take this to, I guess, maybe day 10. And we'll highlight this area right in here so we can get the western portion of the main development region. And again, there is a whole bunch of different solutions, but I would like to draw you to the amount of uncertainty that is within this graphic. You have got models from here to here, and every point in between. That is not coherence, folks. That is a huge amount of uncertainty. So I would just recommend making sure you check back. That's all you can really do right now, is just make sure that you pay attention to the National Hurricane Center and make sure that you're following the official forecast. Taking a look real quick at our dust model, we're going to run this out forward in time. As you can see, it's really starting to break down, especially as it gets over to the left side of the basin or the west side of the basin. The dust, it's a little bit further to the north right now. It's not necessarily coming off. As you could see, things from about 15 degrees north and southward seem to be kind of an okay environment. So if we get anything that's coming off kind of low, we'll definitely have to keep some eyes on it as well going forward. The Weather Prediction Center, as far as our estimated total precipitation over the next 7 days, as we can note, I have seen these values from the Weather Prediction Center come down today. They had a real strong bullseye here into eastern portions of North Carolina this morning. Those values have since come down by quite a bit. So it does seem that the trends in the models right now are kind of coming back a little bit on full-fledged tropical cyclone development. Not saying that there's still not a chance. There's obviously still a chance. But the models are trending away from that solution at this time. Taking a look at the excessive rainfall forecast from the Weather Prediction Center associated with this stalled out frontal boundary and potential tropical cyclone development. Day 1, we have a slight risk. Day 2, we still have a slight risk. So, folks there in the Carolinas, please be careful. Don't drive through flooded roadways. And as you can see, day 3, day 4, day 5, some of these areas, especially like the coastal areas of North Carolina, you're in 5 days of some sort of excessive rainfall outlook. So please, moist, oversaturated soils and stuff like that could lead to some serious problems. So please, again, do not drive through flooded roadways. Taking a quick look at our daily update from the Madden-Julian oscillation. Again, we didn't move very much. Still solidly set into phase 1 and still forecast to kind of roll through. We'll see if it amplifies on its way through. But regardless, it's pretty much going to be right on top of us. And the green line takes it through our August the 19th. So if you figured this is only going to be about halfway into phase 3 by the time we get to the middle of the month. And at this point, it's kind of clear from us, but it has left a whole bunch of extra energy, and the potential for extra energy across the African basin, which then turns into our seeds. All right, the new Global Tropics Hazards Outlook was issued today, came out this afternoon. As you can see, we do have some changes. Out here into the main development region for the week of August 13th through August the 19th, we now have been upgraded to a 40% chance of tropical cyclone development in response, not to the wave we're looking at now, but the one that is behind that one. So please keep that in mind. And then another 20% potentially for the wave that is then behind that. And then if that doesn't necessarily fire off on the 19th, from the 20th to the 26th, as you can see, it slides it out much further to the west. The one interesting thing that I noted here on from August 20th to the 26th is this wraparound area of moisture. Hopefully that will lead to, if we do get any type of development out here in the main development region, hopefully that will lead to a little bit of an extra pathway that will allow these to turn out and get out into the open ocean without threatening anybody or any populated landmass. Bermuda, I'm still here with you. I've left these up over the last few nights just to kind of show everybody exactly where we are at in the hurricane season, just to let everybody know that, yeah, we might have some stuff out there, but guess what, folks? We're right about here. We've got all this to go. So hurricane season is basically just getting started. We're certainly not in peak season. Not yet. We still got a couple more weeks. The August 1st to August 10th points of origin for tropical cyclones going all the way back to 1851. As we could see of what we know of, obviously before satellites, there could have been stuff out here that we weren't aware of. But 107 named storms over the course of between 1851 and 2024. So it's not uncommon to see a storm out here, but it is, you could go a year without seeing anything. Right now we've got Dexter. Will we see another one? Time will tell. From August 11th through August the 20th, the count jumps up to 152 for the Atlantic Basin. So the points of origin really start to get there, and it becomes more and more likely that we're going to see at least a named storm in the basin during that time frame. Okay, if anybody's got any questions regarding the Atlantic Basin, please feel free. Let me know. I'm monitoring chat. I'm starting to learn this now. I've got chat set up so I can see it if you guys do have any questions. Jumping out here to the Eastern Pacific Basin, we've got Henriette out here, kind of getting itself into that cooler, more stable air mass of the Eastern Pacific. You could see these clouds off to its north and to its west. It's kind of getting into those cooler waters. It's getting into that more stable air mass. So it's definitely not going to do any type of rapid intensification or anything like that. But we'll see how long it can maintain itself. Jumping back over here south of Guatemala, we're starting to get a considerable amount of spin out here, and we do have an area to watch with a 70% chance of development over the next 48 hours and a 90% chance of development over the next 7 days. So it's certainly something that we're going to have to keep a watch on. As far as Henriette is concerned, we're currently located at 17.0 north, 125.6 west. Maximum sustained winds are 50 miles an hour, moving west-northwest at 16 miles an hour with a minimum central pressure of 1,003 millibars. Again, the most important part of a public advisory: hazards affecting land. None. It's the greatest word you could see on that outlook. As far as the forecast discussion is concerned, I'm not going to go through and read all this, but it is forecast to maintain through the 120-hour 5-day period. So will it stay as a tropical storm all throughout the 5 days? We'll see. The forecast cone on this does keep it well north of Hawaii, so that is a good sign. Taking a look at these spaghetti plots, I did see one that tried to drift and get a little bit funky earlier, but now everything is in agreement and we'll keep it well away from the Hawaiian Islands. We'll have to wait and see exactly what it does with maybe some inflow, maybe some increased moistures are, here on the Big Island, and some of the areas to where you get the onshore winds, you might get a little bit of cloud consolidation there with some orographic lift. But honestly, I have not looked into it. I would imagine that you would get some type of rainfall if you get deep tropical moisture streaming up from the south as the winds go up the mountain. It is going to condense, and then I would imagine that there would be a cloud deck there somewhere. Okay, and last but not least, we'll jump out here to the Western Pacific and points beyond our area into the Southern Indian Ocean. Invest 90S did not make it, is not forecast to develop any further. We do still have Tropical Depression Baliu out here, and now we have Invest 97W with a high potential of development over the next 24 hours. We take a look at Baliu. I don't even know why I'm showing this. It's 25 knots, folks. It is literally like the very minimal threshold that you could get for a tropical depression. So that's all I have for everybody this evening. Again, heart out to Gizmo and Reed. It's heartbreaking. Hopefully he'll be able to, and just find peace in chasing some storms or whatever over the next little bit, because I know that it's heartbreaking. Animals are like family. So have a wonderful evening, everybody. We will be live again tomorrow night. So at 6 p.m. Here on Facebook and YouTube. So have a wonderful evening, everybody, and we will talk to you again tomorrow night. Good night.